Freckles, I got so many answers to that question, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Good morning, Lost fans around the world. It is me, Seanie B, and today I have a great show for you guys. It's a little bit different, but we're still going to cover what happened in the 16th episode of Season 6 of Lost called What They Died For. I talked about this at the end of the last week's recap, that I don't have a lot of time to work on this one, mostly because there's only a short turnaround time, only like 4 days in between episodes, and also I got finals to study for this next week. I didn't think I was going to be able to get one up, but I did. It's going to be mostly theories and not very many visuals, so sorry it's going to be like a lot of the recaps out there on YouTube and across the net, but I think you guys will like it. Normally my recaps, the actual recap part is around 10 minutes long in the actual videos, and the rest is just theories. This recap in this video, as you'll see in just a little bit, is going to be like 1 minute long, so it's going to be a little quicker than usual. And then the rest of the time is going to be devoted solely to theories on what I and other people around the net think might happen in the finale episode, so I think you guys will like that. And with that, let's get started with the Fast Reflex Awards.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Congrats to the 15 of you guys down here. You guys were the fastest last week, so good job. And be practicing this week. Try to win this week, because in the next week's recap, or even the one after that, which I'll talk about at the end of this recap, I'm going to be giving away some prizes, some actual prizes for you guys, so be looking forward to that. So again, first we're starting with the extra quick recap, and then going on to the theories, so here we go. Okay, so here's a super quick recap of what happened and what they died for. In the Flash Sideways, Desmond continues on his journey to reunite all his friends and show them the existence of the original timeline. Sawyer and Miles talk about the benefit concert they're going to later that night, and Desmond turns himself in. He helps Kate and Sayid escape prison, and he has Kate join him in going to the concert, which we'll see next episode, and Sayid joins Hurley. Here's what happens on the island. Widmore hides from Smokey, Richard gets owned, Ben tattles on Widmore, Flock tickles Zoe's neck with his knife. Widmore tells Flock about Desmond being a failsafe, aka a way for him to never leave the island, as Ben pumps Charles full of lead, and Flock promises him the island in exchange for his obedience. And even though Flock later tells Ben that Widmore whispered to him that Desmond's a failsafe, here's what Widmore actually whispered in a little bit clearer audio for you. I'll play it a couple times for you guys, but it sounds a lot like he's saying, "I don't have the nuclear weapon." They go to the well, they see Desmond's missing, and Locke says that he'll get Desmond to do the one thing he never could do himself, destroy the island. Wait a minute, Flock, didn't you just promise Ben could have it? Jack's group runs into Jacob, who explains that one of them needs to take over as protector of the island. Whoever it is has to protect the light at the center of the island. Jack steps up, drinks Jacob's magical water, and Jacob says, "Now you are like me," just like what Mother said to him last episode. Okay, and that's it for the actual recap of the episode. I warned you it was going to be a lot shorter than usual. So now let's go over some theories on what might happen in the last episode, the finale of Lost. First off, let's talk about Jack becoming the new Jacob. I'm wondering now if this means he'll have an intermediary, kind of like Jacob had Richard as his. It could be Hurley, it could be Sawyer, it could be Desmond or Miles, it could be a whole bunch of people, but I think if he does actually have one, which I don't think he will, but if he does have one, I think it could be Kate. What do you think about that, Kate?
I strongly advise it.
So now I'm going to talk about what I think is going to happen in the Flash Sideways in the finale. I agree with Penny Lane from Dark UFO that I think we have to assume that in the Flash Sideways timeline, Desmond's trying to get everyone together at the concert. So at the concert, I think that Jack and Kate will meet each other, and they're going to connect in a way much like Hurley and Libby did, causing them to see flashes of their time together on the island. I don't think it was ever meant to happen with Sawyer. I don't think he was ever meant to be with her. After all, they've already been together in the Flash Sideways on the elevator, in jail, and there's been no indication of any connection. I think she's always meant to be Jack's girl. I'm guessing that Jack brings Claire to the concert. Maybe it's the same one that Jack and David were talking about. Maybe there she'll see Charlie, and they'll have their moment together, and they'll end up raising Aaron together. Now, during the last episode, Miles reminds Sawyer about the benefit concert at his dad's museum, so I think we have to assume that it's the same concert, and I'm pretty sure that Miles and Sawyer will go there. Now, like I was saying at the beginning of this season, in the first episode of this season, I think that Jack's ex-wife, aka David's mom, is Juliet, and they've been really secretive about her name, so I don't think it's anyone non-important like Sarah or something. So when Sawyer comes, I'm betting he probably sees her and they'll have their connecting moment where they remember their time on the island together in the 70s. Faraday will probably be the one playing at the concert or just one of the musicians, and since we know that this event takes place at Miles' dad's museum, and since we know that Miles' dad is Pierre Chang, we know that Charlotte works with Pierre Chang, so I'm betting she goes to the concert too and she sees Faraday playing, causing her to have flashes of their time on the island together since he already apparently has. Since Faraday will probably be there, that means that Eloise and Penny will more than likely be there. We know that Desmond is going to be there, so this is where I think Penny is going to have or experience her love flashes for Desmond. Now when Eloise told Desmond that it wasn't time for him to know more, remember she said that at the banquet, well, I think this is the time where he's ready to listen. It makes you wonder if she's wanted Daniel to be a musician in the Flash Sideways timeline all along, so that everyone could get together for this exact moment. After all, she is the one responsible for getting everyone back to the island and causing Jughead to go off, ultimately to go off. But I'll talk more about her in just a little bit. As far as the other main Losties go, we know that Hurley's already had his love flashes with Libby. I think that she's his constant. And then Ji-yeon, I think that she's the constant for Jin and Sun. I think when Ji-yeon is born, Jin and Sun will have flashes of the original timeline. And then for Locke, maybe the island is his constant. And I think that once he's fixed, which we know he'll be in this next episode probably, once he's able to walk, maybe that's when he'll have visions of the original timeline. Now as far as Saeed goes, I think that Hurley's bringing Saeed separately. Remember we saw him being taken away from Desmond and Kate. I think that Hurley's bringing him to find Shannon, maybe bring her to the concert. And I think that Shannon's going to be the one to cause him to experience flashes of the original timeline. Maybe she's actual constant, and I don't think it's Nadia. We've already seen Nadia and Saeed together. There's been no indication of any flashes of the original timeline. Maybe it's just people you've had love experiences with on the island. Who knows? Maybe Jacob knows about Desmond and maybe he's setting him in motion to try to get them all to realize the original timeline. In the Flash Sideways timeline, they're all getting together in a confined space, aka the concert, to in a sense gain more life. Whereas if you remember a couple episodes ago, in the original timeline, the Man in Black tried to get them in a confined space with the intention of death. Now what if at the concert, Desmond exposes Eloise for being responsible for what's going on? What if Eloise has been manipulating people this entire time? I agree with G-Boy 1803 that after she killed her own son on the island, the Man in Black knew that he could use this to his advantage, telling her that she could have back the one thing she wanted most, Daniel. Like I said earlier, she was directly responsible for sending the Losties back to the island, claiming that they had unfinished business. She also told Jack that he needed to bring Locke's body back to the island. This in turn created the loophole, allowing the Man in Black, or Smokey, to use the form of Locke. This led to the deception of Ben and ultimately the death of Jacob. This supposedly also led to the creation of the Flash Sideways timeline when Jughead exploded. Bet you guys know my doubts about that. It also might be why Eloise seems to know about both timelines and might be symbolized by the two brooches that she wore when that episode happened. She told Desmond that he was committing a violation, maybe because he's starting to figure everything out. So at the concert, it could be that this is what Desmond was telling Minkowski that he wanted to show everyone. Maybe not just the original timeline, experiences from the original timeline, but Eloise, Jacob's Judas.